All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. I've got my bad boy Ryan here again. Things have obviously, since the Romelu Lukaku comment, it's been a few hours, obviously. It's nearly 3 p.m. Australian. It's at the moment of recording, it's 4 a.m. UK. So it's been a while since that particular news, and we're going to try and be a little bit more calm, but look through the whole situation as to what has really transpired. What does it mean? We're going to try and get the understanding of it. We're going to also talk about Reece James. It seems like he's gone for a while. Could be 2 to 3 months. That's what the news that's been circulating around. So there goes our first team starting wingbacks gone. We're going to talk about contract situation as well, just quickly. A few of the contracts, Aspilicueta, Christensen, they look like they could be out the door. Rudiger obviously could be out the door. And we're going to also look about, apparently there are certain players complaining now. Off the back of this Romelu Lukaku comments, there are some other news that's coming out that certain players are not happy. I mean, it's quite understandable. They're not getting game time, but this is what happens. This is what happens when people start going to the media, and then obviously the media is going to play with it. Ryan, my man, how you doing?
I'm good. Wow, it's been a lot of things coming through on the media, on Twitter, a lot of news coming through on multiple subjects. So I think a couple hours ago, 12 hours ago, everybody was highly emotional or angry, stressed out about the news. But I think some time has passed, and hopefully we could really give it a good think about and put on a good show for everybody.
Brilliant, bro. Brilliant. I like the pundit Ryan, man. I really do. Okay, let's get straight into this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the news from Fabrizio Romano. And Fabrizio Romano is quite staunch about the fact that this is not fabricated one bit. He's actually going around commenting on other people's tweets now, saying this is exactly what Lukaku said. He's getting upset because a lot of people are quoting him and whatnot and really having a dig at him. And he's saying, I am not making this up. This is what Romelu Lukaku said. So this is what it's saying from Sky Sports Italy. Physically, I'm fine, but I'm not happy with the situation at Chelsea. Tuchel has chosen to play with another system. I won't give up. I'll be professional. I'm not happy with this situation, but I'm professional and I can't give up. He goes on to talk about a whole heap of other things, how, he didn't want to leave Inter in that manner. It wasn't the right time to talk about it at that stage, so on and so forth. But this is the biggest highlight of the whole scenario. Obviously, he talks about Inter, which is quite annoying. But we're going to whiz through all of the socials first, and then we're going to have a conversation about it. This is what Simon Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, said in regards to this. By the way, this was an interview straight after the Aston Villa game. I'm just going to pause that so I don't get in trouble. Lukaku exclusive for ESPN Brazil after Villa game. I told the coach that I'm multidimensional. It's just about having clarity about what he wants from me. So try and put the pieces together. There would have been some sort of conversation Lukaku must have had, whether it's Sky Sports Italy or whatnot. He definitely had these things circulating around his head about whether he's playing in a particular system that is suitable for him. He must have even had the conversation with Thomas Tuchel. Of course, this is what he's saying. I told the coach, I'm multidimensional. So we need to put the pieces together. All right, let's have a look at what else Simon Johnson is saying. I won't give up. I'll be a professional. A professional wouldn't give up an interview. Okay, so he's quoted, I won't give up. I'll be professional. A professional wouldn't give an interview like this after missing half the season through injury and illness. Poor from Lukaku at a time when Chelsea are struggling and need their record buy to show leadership. He adds fuel to the flames. He goes on to say, not sure the timing of the interview. It's much of a defense. Not sure the timing of the interview is much of a defense. His comments were never going to help Tuchel. Why were they? Further goes on to say, And as other have mentioned, yes, the interview took place 3 weeks ago. And we're going to talk about this whole 3-week situation as well. I fully expect Tuchel to be cool, calm and collected when he talks about it in his presser tomorrow, like he always is. If Lukaku is picked versus Liverpool, his best response will be to play like he has done in the last 2 games. Nathan Gissing, this is the person that is CFC news page in Instagram. He's absolutely in the know-how on all of these things. He looks like started a Twitter page earlier today. Romelu Lukaku recent interview for Sky was done after the Man United match. And then he has a couple other news for Reece James and Christensen, which we'll touch on later on. Liam Toomey, assuming that nothing has been lost in translation here, and aside from the atrocious optics timing, I'm intrigued to know what system Lukaku thought Tuchel was going to play in this season. It's very, very interesting. I mean, what was the conversation that they've had? He further on goes to say how big a story this become is now up to Tuchel. How he handles the inevitable questions about it in the press conference tomorrow could define the rest of Chelsea's season and possibly his tenure. It's true. It's true. It just adds a lot of pressure. Patrick Kendrick goes on to say, this guy is a, as you can see, freelance commentator, Serie A World Feed, IMG conference interpreter. So he knows about the Serie A and whatnot. He's saying, Lukaku, I'm not happy with the situation. So this is straight from this extract from the interview, the video version of it, which I think is available in Sky Sports website. I'm not happy with the situation, and that's only natural. The head coach has decided to play a different system, and I mustn't let up. I need to keep working hard and be professional. I'm not happy with the situation, but I'm a grafter, and I mustn't let up. This is where, ladies and gentlemen, Fabrizio Romano, CFC Daily, huge Chelsea account, tweeted all interviews that cross over with the latest news are the worst. And then, he goes on to say, it just makes the situation 10 times harder. What do you believe? The word he said 2 to 3 weeks ago or the words he said 3 days ago? Football changes quickly, but there's no way he's 100% happy at Chelsea right now. And I just want to scroll down. This particular Chelsea fan said, his name is Giacomo. He said, Fabrizio causing a bit of mayhem for no reason. Have a look at this. Fabrizio replied back, Fabrizio, I reported an interview published today by Sky. It's everywhere in Italy and in the world, and it will continue tomorrow in full version. It's on my interview. It's from Sky. And he said these words, mate. Everything Fabrizio Romano has tweeted, he's not taking it back one bit. He's saying he said these words, mate. And I just want to quickly show you guys one last thing before we get into this conversation. This is a comment that came on my particular channel, ladies and gentlemen, when I did the reaction to this video. Let me see if I can actually make it a little bit bigger. Oh, maybe that was a bit too big. Yeah. Hopefully you guys can see this. Anyway, this is a comment straight from my recent video where I reacted to the particular comment initially. This particular subscriber of my channel, this is what he commented, and I actually pinned it on my recent video. He's saying, I'm an Inter fan and I'm Italian. I've seen the interview, and what Fabrizio Romano translated is 100% what Lukaku said. No misinterpretation. Lukaku is making fun of both Chelsea and Inter's fan. He is a Chelsea player right now, and that means he should keep his mouth shut in respect towards Chelsea, the club who's currently playing in massive salary. Second, he's talking about joining Inter as if he didn't have a contract with Chelsea and as if he decides whether we want him back or not. And personally, I can tell you that I'd never want him to join my club again. I don't see myself chanting at the stadium for such a little man. There's no point at all in complaining about Tuchel's module in a public interview that's so disrespectful towards your manager and will give you nothing in return. Plus, if it's not performing as he thought he would have done it, it's surely not because of Tuchel. What will give you nothing in return. What I can suggest to all of you Chelsea fans is that you don't make our mistake. Do not give him too much importance to this little man. We loved him, treated him like a king, made a huge morale of him outside of the stadium. He kissed our jersey and said that playing for Inter was his dream since when he was a kid. And then he left without even saying a word to the fans who supported him and loved him. He now kissed Chelsea's jersey too and said that playing for Chelsea was his dream since when he was a kid. Oh, come on, this dude just doesn't have any credibility at all. Huge respect from an Inter fan. Chelsea is such an amazing club, and congratulations for being the champions of Europe. Ryan, what do you make of all this, bro?
Well, you know, at first I had initial reactions, which was I was overwhelmed with like a tsunami, not only wave, but a tsunami of disappointment. Not only the
Yeah,
timing of it, but the stature of player that he is. You know, when we talk about stature, you could think about his price, 100 million. You could
yeah,
think about that, but I think about who he is in a Chelsea legacy. This is somebody who was at Chelsea before. He trained with legends like Lampard, Drogba, Ashley Cole, these players. He know what it is to be Chelsea. He know he is in contact with Chelsea legends, and he's come back to a club which he says he has unfinished business with, which he says was
yeah.
always his dream. But it always seems that he says that in interviews. If he, I don't know, he said that about Inter.
Bro, do you
Inter
remember
was
when
his
he went
dream.
to Man United? Do you remember when he went to
Yeah, he
Man
was saying
United?
that's the biggest club in England and everything like that. And his dream play was for the biggest club in England. So I remember that in his first interview. And yeah, I was really disappointed given the stature of Lukaku because I was really happy when he came instead of a Haaland because I felt as if our youth players had somebody, an heir to the previous golden generation of Chelsea. Somebody who had ties to that generation. He wasn't part of that generation, but he was like the heir of that generation. Somebody
Yeah.
Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount, the Cobham boys could look up to, could be an example to. But when I see this is exactly what I would not want these guys to do. Um, I was really disappointed, and obviously, when you state opinions, you start to get people making, not making excuses. We can't say that. You see them at this point. We have to analyze with what we have. So you can
Yeah.
analyze from multifacets here. And there's quite some arguments that people were using. And I've done my research on some of the arguments that people have. And I would love to get into them. But as you asked, my initial reaction is one of overwhelming disappointment given the stature of Lukaku at Chelsea.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, there's a lot of fans out there that are saying, oh, people are taking this out of context. People are taking this out of context. This was 3 weeks ago, da 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 da. I just want to say, even if it was out of context, there's one thing that has really irked me a lot more than anything. I'm not even too concerned about the whole Inter Milan. He wants to go back one day. You know, players do this. Eden Hazard did this. Didier Drogba did this. Players do this on a regular basis, talk about other clubs. And, Lukaku coming from Inter Milan, he was probably saying it to please the Inter Milan fans. No problems. What really has irked me a lot, Ryan, is that he said, and I'm just going to bring this up. I'm going to bring this up one more time. He said, but I'm not happy with the situation at Chelsea. Okay, fine. That could be the fact that he's been injured and he's tested positive for the particular disease that's gone around. Tuchel has chosen to play with another system. I won't give up. This is what has bothered me out of the whole thing. And this particular line is quite common with whatever different context that you're looking at. Like there are people that are saying, no, this is exactly what Lukaku said,
Yeah,
or few people are
yeah,
saying this. But the one thing, Ryan, that is common is this particular line. That line is quite common
Miss,
across all of these
here it is.
interpretation.
I have a quote here. I felt an off vibe from Lukaku's interview after Aston Villa when he scored that brace. He said that I kept working hard to play, but the manager has his reasons. And I found that was a weird jab to put in there. The manager has recently pulled up the quote here. I have it right here. It
Yeah.
was good for us to win and for myself personally. And yeah, he was
Where are you
basically
finding
saying
that quote
that.
from? Maybe I can bring it up.
Oh no, I just have it on a YouTube video with subtitles. But
Oh, okay.
because I couldn't really get the quote. But yeah, so you were saying I was working really hard. Every footballer wants to be on the pitch, but the manager has his reasons. And I kept working hard. And
Why
today,
does he
and
want to
here's a
throw
good.
the manager? it seems like he
Yeah, and
wants
I
to
find
throw the manager's name there all the
yeah,
time.
it felt like a weird job. You just scored a brace. Your team won. We needed this win after a run of bad games on with COVID. There's so much situation going around the club. And I find out was a weird job he put at Tuchel. I was surprised. And that's why when this news dropped, I started to look at it through that lens. Because it's not a coincidence that that job came only a few days ago and now we're hearing this. Now, about the 3 weeks ago thing, I want to say that the first argument on his quotes, they're saying Lukaku is not happy with Chelsea's system here. Listen, for me, I've watched every single starting 11 Lukaku has featured in since he
Yeah.
arrived at Chelsea until he is injured. Right? He was paired up with Havertz 7 times. Alongside, it was a 3-4-3. Right? It was predominantly
Yeah.
3-4-3 instead of 3-5-2. However, do not be mistaken with 3-4-3 because if you watch the front three, he was always paired up with a striker and then another winger who was a midfielder. So,
Yeah.
for example, 7 times he was paired up with Havertz, right? In a
Yeah.
3-4-3. So that's 2 strikers there, whereas the third person would be either Mount or Ziyech who would drop to allow for a front two and a 3-5-2 to take place. Another 4 times he was paired up with Werner and with Mount or Ziyech, which allowed the same thing to happen. Actually, 3 times we actually went on a full out 3-5-2. Twice we tried Loftus-Cheek in that midfield 3-1 and we tried Kovacic, Kante and Jorginho in that midfield 3. We tried it, but it didn't work after that Tottenham game. It was 12 matches in total until he got injured on October 20th. And it's weird to say different system or module. Some people are saying about module. Um, and it's a weird one because when you think about it, okay, on paper, system is not much different. 3-4-3, 3-5-2. It is the same in this regard due to the personnel in the front three. It's 2 strikers and
Yeah.
1 winger who is really a midfielder who drops near our pivot, right? And
Yeah.
so now I'm leading to think, what about philosophy? Maybe he doesn't like Tuchel's philosophy. Maybe it's not system, it's philosophy, how Chelsea plays. But then from day one, Tuchel in all his interviews, it revolved around Lukaku. We want to get the
Yeah.
best out of Lukaku, so we're playing Kovacic because Kovacic could find Lukaku. We're playing Mount because he has chemistry with Lukaku. So it was about Lukaku from day one. It's not like we neglected him. It's not like he wasn't in our ideas. Tuchel made him the forefront of it. We
Yeah.
actually only changed our false nine when he got injured. And when he got injured, we actually saw our best attacking success in those games where he was not a part of Chelsea. We got back a more
Yeah.
fluid attack. And that's when we saw the real purple patch of Chelsea. I want to say in October 20th, he got injured. And he was out for 5.5 weeks when he came back on November 23rd. This is very important. I really wrote this down. It's very important because when he came back, because people are saying this interview was after the Manchester United game, right? This is so
Yeah.
significant because the Manchester United game was on the 28th of November, and then our following game was December 1st, right?
Yeah.
So that's only a 3-day gap there, right?
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
means it had to be around the 29th, 30th, wherever he did that interview. Since Manchester United is the big timeline people is using for this past 3 weeks thing, right? To put some context into this is that he only returned to the squad on the 23rd of November after his 5.5 week injury after October 20th, where he was obviously he was on the bench, but he was unused because Chelsea was winning 4-0. So why risk Lukaku getting injured against Chiellini and Bonucci and these guys against Juventus? Especially when
Yeah.
our players like Hudson and all these guys are doing so well in a 4-0 victory. Keep in mind in that game, I believe Chilwell got injured. So we
He
couldn't,
did. Kante got injured
yeah,
as well.
so let me just click on that game and see exactly the substitutions we used. Then we gave Kante a break. We know about Kante. We gave Jorginho a break that game. Chilwell had to come out because of injury. Hudson-Odoi got his send-off, etc. That's why I think that maybe Lukaku wasn't ready. We didn't want to risk an injury. Remember, it's 5 weeks and a half. We need to work on him. Against Manchester United, he actually featured on the bench this time, right? So if you think about when he returned to training, to him being on the bench, he was on the bench right away. For one match, he didn't feature off the bench, but the next match against Man U,
So what
he
you're
actually
saying
played.
is he was already in the team, like in the bench, and then because
Yeah,
they're saying that this happened after Man United.
yeah. So after a 5.5 week injury, he was introduced into the bench one time. It wasn't that he was left out. So even with only a few days of training, he got back into the team against Juventus, but he just didn't risk it. Why risk it? We need you. You just came back from a 5.5 week injury. Now against Manchester United on November 28th, he did feature. He did play. Actually, I'm trying to pull up here what minute he actually came on. Let me just scroll down. Okay, he came in. I don't think he get much minutes. It was 82 minutes.
Yeah.
82nd minute, sorry, but it actually went on to 90 plus 7 minutes, 90 plus 8
Actually,
minutes. So,
do you know what?
so
Let
that's
me let me
nearly
just bring
20
it up as
minutes.
well. Let me just bring
Yeah.
this up as well.
So
So
he came on.
let me just. You're talking about that he was. I don't remember that Man United game anymore. It was such a rubbish game. I've tried to forget about it. But
Now we
you're
were
saying that he
drawing.
came on.
He came on 82nd minute. Only his second match on the bench since he was injured. He got the feature, which is very good given our 5.5 week injury. He came on the 82nd. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm watching. 82nd minute, and then that
There you
match
go. Here
lasted
we go.
till
82nd minute. Romelu Lukaku
it lasted
in.
till
Timo Werner
90
out.
plus 8. So that's, if you do that math, at 8 plus 8 is 16 minutes he got to play, which is very good for your first match back, right? Against Watford, only 3 days after, or 4 days, I'm not sure how much days November has, sorry. I don't know if it's year 31,
I'll
but
tell you
I
right now,
believe
bro.
he
I'll
came
tell
in
you
on the
right now.
45th minute here. I believe he came up on the 45th minute against Watford. I remember it was a second half change. Let me just confirm that. When did he come on against Watford?
I'm checking
No,
it
it
right now.
was. No, he came on the 69th minute. So he got increasingly more time against this match.
69th
First,
minute,
he
you're
got.
right. Cesar Spilicueta out, Romelu Lukaku in.
Yes, the first match he got 16 minutes, and this time this match went to even 90 plus 7 minutes again. So if you do that math there, it's 21 plus 7, it's 28 minutes he got. So he got 16 minutes in his first appearance back after a 5.5 week injury, and he got 27 minutes, which is very good given our 5.5 week part missing, and then immediately he has been in and around the team. He has been using the team, and that's why I find it's
I
so
think West Ham he
interesting.
came on second half as well because of Kai Havertz's injury.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, I want to really highlight this Man United part is that given everything I said about system, first system is even though it's not technically 3-5-2, it is 3-5-2 because in our front three you're playing with a striker every game, right? And our third person was a midfielder drop-in who started as a winger. So you had this system, and then okay, you say okay, that system is philosophy. Well, I detracted that because from the get-go, Tuchel said that we're gonna try to get the best out of Lukaku. That's why we're gonna use Kovacic with him. We're gonna use Mount with him. So from day one, so it's not philosophy, it's not system. So and then he started nearly every game when he was fit. And we were very careful with him, given that he came back. And we have to remember that we were in a purple patch, and Havertz was doing very well. So respect needed to be given to Havertz, who worked a lot, really hard, was improving, and we were getting good results. It's and that's why I find it so interesting, the timing of it, given his argument. And I feel that is why I'm led to believe that is something more going on behind the scenes. Because on the surface, when we look at the facts, it does not warrant the comments that he made. And that's why I'm really. What do you think about that?
No, you're absolutely right, Ryan, man. I didn't even think about going deep into figuring out the whole Man United game if he featured. But if what all these, in the nose that are saying that it was after the Man United game, well, yeah, what is he complaining about? You were always the focal point, my man. Thomas Tuchel in every press conference has said, you are the man. You are the bad boy up front. And this is what really upsets me the most, Ryan, that I don't care all the stuff he said about Inter. I don't really, I don't want to get into that. It is what it is. But what's really annoyed me the most is, Ryan, the fact that he's gone out there and even the other quote that you mentioned, post Aston Villa game as well, just sly little digs on the manager. And
Yeah.
honestly, I don't appreciate this. As a fan, I don't want Romelu Lukaku to start thinking he's bigger than the manager. He's the biggest factor in Chelsea Football Club. We've not forgotten Romelu Lukaku. You've been somewhat of a mercenary. You've left Chelsea, you went to Everton, you kissed their badge as well. You went to Man United and you said it's the biggest club in England. You kissed their badge as well, and you were so excited to go there. You left them, you went to Inter Milan, you kissed their badge as well, and you said that it's your dream come true. It's the dream club that you've always wanted. And then it's your decision that you wanted to come to Chelsea. Yeah, of course, we were chasing you, but you could not leave Inter quickly enough. No one told you. If you wanted to stay back, you could have stayed. This only happened because you wanted it to happen. And then you come to Chelsea and you start talking about how there's unfinished business. You've been dreaming about this situation since you were 10, playing at Stamford Bridge. There's even some quotes saying that this is the club you want to stay. This is here for the long run. Maybe I want to look at retiring, for example. I'm just really upset, Ryan, and this is we'll move on to the next topic. But
Yes.
Ryan, I'm just very upset, and I want to hear from you as well on this particular matter. I'm just really upset that this man has gone out there and had a little, not even a little dig, has had a dig at our gaffer, and there are other players that are going to start looking at this. And in fact, I think this is good segue. I just want to bring this up, ladies and gentlemen. This is a tweet from CFC Daily. Pulisic, Timo Werner, Christensen, Rudiger, Azpilicueta, Jorginho, Lukaku, and Ziyech either have 6 months on their contract, have been mentioned by good sources not being happy with the role they have, or its players' agents talking public. Add this on top of the injury disaster. Club captain and vice captain as well, not good at all. We are stuck in the middle of a good new era coming, and we're also stuck in the middle of senior players either not making their minds up or thinking they are too good after ghosting for majority of the contract. I mean, Ryan, for me, the most important factor is Thomas Tuchel. We need to ensure we keep this particular person. There are people talking about his system, style, this, that. We've talked about it, that there is nothing wrong with it. We've won a Champions League with this particular gaffer. And not only we won the Champions League, we've dominated teams. It wasn't like the first time we won where we parked the bus against almost every team out there. Ryan, I can't. Like the way December is shaping up with players getting injured, players testing positive, refereeing issues, our games not getting postponed. Now this Romelu Lukaku thing, January window just around the corner. If we don't give Thomas Tuchel what he wants, I just don't want this manager to be driven out of this club. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, just to finish the last point, just to cement it there just for 10 seconds. I want to just remind everybody, even with Lukaku, when he first appeared for a few minutes in those first 3 matches he came back, he was not good. he was not up to pace, and Tuchel himself said he was forced to bring him on because he was not ready yet. We could
Yeah.
see he was not moving, he was not running as much, he was looking lethargic, he was looking tired. 5 weeks and a half is a lot out. So now back to your question, what we're talking about here, I feel that it sets a wrong example. I think
Oh,
player power has been a problem at Chelsea for
a long
years
time.
now.
Yeah, a long
A
time.
years now. And I have no idea what's going on behind the scenes, but we are seeing an increased frustration from Tuchel in recent interviews, and it's not only down to
Yep.
performances, this and that. It really seems that he's losing his patience in a way, and he's trying his
Hmm.
best to protect his players too. He still blames himself. He's trying to deflect from his own players by talking about referees and decisions. But that's just a tactic managers use to protect their players. Mourinho always goes out there to try to protect his players. That's why he will
Yeah.
try to find. That's why Klopp will be talking about the grass and wind and all kind of thing because he just wants to protect his players and respect them to keep. He would not discuss their performance in the outside world critically.
Yeah.
So why is it right for a player to come out and discuss the manager's performance critically to not
Yeah.
only wherever but to random journalists on Sky Sports during a part? Think about it also when your team was doing well. Because after the Man U game, we drew, yes, but we put on a great performance against Juventus and a great performance against
Hmm.
Leicester. And these two matches, our performances were so well that people were thinking we could push for a title here. So why would you go out there and do an interview like that in a
And
period
who
where
told
Chelsea
him to
was
do the
pushing for?
interview? Like Ryan, who told
Yeah,
him to do that interview? Do you know what I mean? And if you're gonna do the interview, why are you being so open about all of these things? Like, just do an interview, but
it
you
was
don't need
weird
to
from the
say
get-go.
everything
You saw the
out.
video? You saw the video? It's
I saw the
like, do you
video.
promise to be honest and nothing else but honest or something? What,
Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
first line is that? That mean he knew the questions that was gonna come up. If he start an interview like that, it wasn't gonna be not random, a weird basic interview. It started off spicy where he's saying, do you promise to be honest and nothing but honest? Because I felt the intent there was to cause some stirring up, you know. And
And
as
also,
Mippy
Ryan,
said,
why has this come up 3 weeks later? I mean, how does Romelu Lukaku feel about this? I mean, how conveniently they waited 3 weeks later to publish his own interview. I would love to know what Romelu Lukaku thinks about the whole situation. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I feel that this is just on the surface. I really feel what that tweet you brought out, I feel there's many stories being untold, but I do not know
Hmm.
what is the problem with these players. Why can't they work under Conte? Why can't they work under Sarri? Why can't they work under
Yeah.
Lampard? Why can't they work under Thomas Tuchel? What is going on with these players? And we
Hmm.
have such an influx of young players now. How did Chelsea reach in a place like this? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's incredible. It's incredible. We're going to move on to the next topic, but just to sort of round up the Romelu Lukaku situation, I don't want any player to have that much power to go out there and talk against a gaffer that's actually a very, very good gaffer. Do you know what I mean? Like, this guy, we're going to win a lot of things with. We need to be patient. Just the way Liverpool has been patient, just the way, Pep Guardiola is doing his thing in Man City. Pep Guardiola doesn't take any BS. Foden and Grealish, they went out to a club a couple of weeks ago and they were instructed you can't do that because of the COVID situation and whatnot, and they wanted to be in a bubble. They broke that, and Pep sacked them for 2 to 3 games. I need that level of authority to be given to Thomas Tuchel. He needs that, or else this man is not going to last.
Even Arteta has the authority at
Yeah,
Arsenal.
with Aubameyang,
Yeah,
gone. He's
I
finished.
respect that.
Aubameyang's done. I
I
respect
respect
that.
that.
And Ryan, is it a coincidence that Arsenal's playing better?
No,
So
you know what that means?
these,
I
what does
feel
that
like
mean?
a lot of people make fun of Manchester City with their fans and this and that, but I feel they really show how a proper club is run. How
Yeah,
impressive from this top go down, how impressively they are run. I don't know. It's really, I wish we could live up to that from a structural point of view. Um,
It seems like there's no hierarchical situation in our club. It's like gun ho. I still remember Asari season. Gary Cahill interview dropped from Matt Law talking down on Sari.
yeah, I remember
You
that.
know, obviously Frank Lampard, as it got worse right at the end, whole heap of stuff started to come out. And now with Thomas Tuchel, I mean, this is incredible. Some of these players that are complaining, you're not good. You are not good for the system. It's as simple as that. Like, I'm just going to quickly bring this up one more time. These players, Pulisic, Werner, Christensen, Rudiger, I don't know why he's unhappy. Maybe he's unhappy because of the contract situation. Jorginho gets game time, so I'm not really sure what he's unhappy. Is he unhappy because he's getting out overplayed? Lukaku, Ziyech, I can understand. Pulisic, Werner, Christensen, Lukaku, Ziyech. Do you know what I mean? Like, you guys, you're not creme de la creme. You're not part
And
of
they've
this
been given
particular
the
system.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Ziyech has been given the opportunity over and over. Pulisic has been given that opportunity.
Even Timo Werner last
Werner has
season.
been given a whole
Right.
season, bro. Like, over and over and over and over, he got opportunities. And Werner's not good. Werner's a senior player.
It's mad, bro. It's absolutely mad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, next news. Ooh, this one's quite a heavy one as well. Understand Reece James has indeed suffered a hamstring tear. He'll sadly be ruled out for a while, leaves Marcos Alonso and Chelsea's only recognised available wing-back going into Sunday's game against Liverpool. Ryan, no Chilwell, no Reece James. There's some reports are actually saying that he could be out for 3 months. We're setting up Thomas Tuchel to fail, man.
Yeah. That is incredible. I don't even know. I don't even know what to begin, bro. Like,
it's crazy. How's he meant to play this system where Reece James and Chilwell were one of the most important factors of this three at the back, wing back situation? We've covered it plenty of times in our tactical shows. Now he's left with Marcos Alonso and Azpilicueta. January window's coming up. If the board doesn't fix it within the first week, they really don't have any leg to complain on Thomas Tuchel if the results don't go our way. We've got a massive bump up January fixtures coming up with Liverpool, City next up, Spurs twice. It's almost as if we do need two wing backs again. We need two wing backs.
and even like people talking about back four, who's going to be a two centre backs? We're going to play Chalobah in a back two. Chalobah and Rudiger in a back two with Alonso in a back four, and then Aspi getting up and down as a right back. Is
It's
that
mad,
going to be our
bro.
back four
It's
for
mad.
all the tacticians saying that we need to go to a back four?
We don't have the facilities to go to a back four anymore.
We don't have the facilities for that, big man. Yeah,
we don't
true.
have the facilities for that, big man.
We don't have
I mean?
facilities for any formation, actually. We gotta go with our back two. We gotta make a new formation.
just go with a back two and just line up a whole heap of midfielders. But
Yeah,
yeah,
then
this
get like
is
Chappy. Play the Chappy
Like
management
Chappy.
style there. No wingers, just midfielders.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is another blow to our season. And Chilwell and Reece James were not only scoring, assisting, very, very important cog of this whole system. Now Thomas Tuchel, it's down to the board now. The board has to do their level best to ensure that they find a solution for Thomas Tuchel in this particular transfer window, and quick, not wait till January 31st to make this happen. On top of that, there are So this is what Absolute Chelsea said. There are concerns Reece James has suffered a hamstring tear rather than a strain, a scenario that could result in months rather than weeks in the sidelines. There is pre-agreement for Chelsea captain Cesar Azpilicueta to join Barcelona in summer. Andres Christensen has no intention of renewing his stay at Chelsea amid interest from Barcelona. Barcelona just going for the
Oh,
kill with us.
wasn't Barcelona broke like a few months ago?
Yeah,
Like,
but I think that's why they're going for these free players. The transfer budget is something that they don't have. I think wages is something they can manage. That's why they're going after all these free agent players, man. But yeah, Ryan, players complaining, as you can see here. Romelu Lukaku with a madness. Reece James gone. Azpilicueta apparently with a pre-contract with Barcelona, and this news is not too far-fetched because I can understand he probably wants to play in the World Cup, and if he's not getting enough game time, well, he's not going to get selected for Spain. Christensen is testing the waters because he knows he's able to get more money. I mean, it's a bit of a strange crisis situation. It's almost like everything, the kitchen sink has been thrown at Thomas Tuchel. I mean, the board needs to
both
help this
on and off
brother
the
out.
pitch. Both on and off the
Yeah.
pitch.
Yeah.
Because
And
it would have been.
Ryan, we've got Liverpool and Man City back to back.
Let me just check all fixtures. I haven't actually seen it. So we have Liverpool Sunday, Wednesday we have Tottenham, and then City a couple weeks after.
There's Tottenham in the middle of the two.
Tottenham twice, because now semi-finals 2 legs.
So what is it? Is it Liverpool, Tottenham, City, or something like that?
Liverpool, Tottenham, and then Chesterfield, Tottenham, City, and then Tottenham again.
Wow.
Antonio Conte
Wow.
put the coffee man Chelsea. Jeez. And then right after that, it's like Club World Cup. So it's like it's gonna be a tough period. The thing is with Tuchel, I think honestly the media is going to capitalize on this and put extreme pressure onto Chelsea, onto players,
Watch
onto
the press conference, bro.
manager.
Watch the press conference. Obviously, this will land after the press conference. So we don't know what will happen in the press conference. I'll do a video after, maybe tomorrow later on in the evening. But the pressure he's going to be on is going to be immense, right?
You know, I feel like it has to be a multiple of things going on, because it's a weird one. Because Azpilicueta, he is free to leave. Come on, he served us for good. I'm sure it's no bad blood with Azpilicueta. He's our captain, this and that. With Christensen, yes, he had contract negotiations. He opted out, but Tuchel completely froze him out of the side when he was doing well.
Yeah.
And we'll watch back at some of Lampard's behaviors. Lampard shot himself in the foot sometimes, and freezing out one player in a Chelsea team could lead to other Chelsea players feeling offended. And that group mentality sometimes comes in where you start to watch the manager a different way. With Rudiger, he felt wrong by the board, but Rudiger is still fighting day in, day out because nothing is agreed yet. So he still needs to sign that contract for next club. He just can't mess it up. Who else we say is leaving?
Rudiger.
Yeah, so I feel like it's a mixture that it has just been really poor planning on the part of the board too. We knew these contracts were run out since while we were in Champions League. We knew this before the summer. We knew we needed wing backs for the system to work. We knew we needed to sort out these contracts. And it's okay if they decided they wanted to give up on Christensen or Rudiger or this and that. But as we see, we have no plan. We can't let go 4 or 5 players in one window. It should have been you let go two in the summer, you get into players, then in January you let go one or two again, and then in summer you let go one. You
Yeah.
you carry the torch gradually, and you get players in gradually so that they can fit into Chelsea and learn what it means to play in the system. What we're going to see here, it feels like we're going back to square one. We've finally been seeing some chemistry developing after bringing in 7 players at once under Lampard, but it seems
Yeah,
like we
man.
have to do that again. And the thing is, it's not like these 7 players are fully adapted. Bro, after these 7 players still didn't even adapt yet. People just don't know where
Bro,
his best position is,
Timo
where
Werner hasn't still adapted. Hakim Ziyech hasn't
yeah.
adapted. Kai Havertz hasn't adapted. Pulisic is just playing all over the place. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's like now we're gonna have to get 4 to 5 players to bring in to a non-adapted team already. It's we have to hold uh we have to hold accountable the board to an extent because the fans could see it coming. So how couldn't they see it coming? It's poor planning on them, and it's a shock that we could have easily gotten 45 million for Christensen. 60 to
Yeah.
70 million for Rudiger on a good contract. We could easily got, for example, at least 10 to 15 million for Aspi. All these things add up for a club that does so well to even get 1 million for Giroud and this and that. How can we be at such a situation? Because we are a team that buy what we sell. Our net spending is like that. We buy what we
Yeah.
sell, but now we haven't sell anything. So we're going into the transfer market on a loss. Thing is, teams know we are desperate now to buy players. The price is going
So
to
they're
go
going to jack
even
up the
higher when
price.
Chelsea calls.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have put ourselves in a dangerous position, and you know what the board usually does in these situations? The manager will always be the scapegoat. We
Not
have
just the
put
manager. You know what they do? They're going to get you a Papi Giliboji or whatever his name is. They're going to get those type of players for him.
And the thing is, this manager won us a Champions League, and now we have left him in this situation here. And it's,
Yeah.
I cannot believe that. I really hope Chelsea doesn't go with this manager because I feel this is a once in a generation manager for Chelsea.
Oh, bro.
Behind Klopp and Tuchel and probably Conte. I mean, Klopp and Pep and probably Conte. Tuchel is up there, top 5 manager in the world right now.
Tuchel it'll be Pep and then Klopp and Tuchel probably similar. That's how I look at it. It's Pep and then Klopp and Tuchel. And then the
Yeah,
rest.
yeah. And you know what, Miz? It's a it's one of those things where with Chelsea, the managers always get the axe.
Yeah.
And I want to put a positive spin on it is that if it's any manager who could probably deal with a situation like this, it's Tuchel. The stories that used to come out of PSG, the egos he had to deal with on a daily basis, he has experience dealing with these things. I feel as if it was Lampard or Sarri to deal with these things, it would have be a disaster already. And we have to see what he says tomorrow because I think tomorrow will be damage control. It will be damage control.
I think so. I think so, man. Now, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button. If you're here for the first time as well, subscribe to the bell notification. Check out Ryan and his socials in the description right now. As Ryan said, it's going to be damage control. Thomas Tuchel, I don't think he'll spice things up in the press conference. It'll be only to his detriment if he does, and I don't think he will. He will cool things down, but I'm seriously not happy with a lot of these situations, especially the Romelu Lukaku, how he talks about the gaffer and how he's changed his module. I don't like that one bit. Why is there a need to say that? Injuries, what do? The board has to back Thomas Tuchel in the transfer window this upcoming January, and these contract extensions. The board is the only one to blame here for it to linger around for this long. Why didn't you get into Why didn't you find an offer? Why didn't you negotiate better? We're in a bit of a mess. I feel like we're in a bit of a mess moving into this Liverpool match and also all of these other matches, as Ryan said, Spurs, City, Spurs again. All right,
We
ladies
don't
and
have the
gentlemen, hope you guys have
facilities for a
enjoyed.
back four, and we don't have the facilities for a back three. So I don't know what we're gonna do, but it'll be interesting to see. That's
Yeah,
all I'll
no,
say.
change the formation. Change the formation. Change the formation. Yeah, change the formation. That's the answer. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have enjoyed this. Until next time, see ya.